Hey, Soul Tribe. Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in another Soul Saturday session. Today we're talking about creating from soul, not ego. And if you've been on this journey, you know that creating isn't just about making pretty things or productivity. It is about creating from truth, creating from alignment, creating from your soul essence, not your wounds, not the need for approval or validation. And I'll be real with you, Soul Tribe. There have been moments in my journey where I have chased numbers, dollar signs, likes. I have shape shifted myself into being what I thought others needed or wanted from me. And guess what? It doesn't feel good. We magnetize people, places, or things that don't always feel good because it's not aligned with our true soul essence. So today we're diving into what it means to express from the soul and how to spot when the ego jumps in the driver's seat, which most likely has happened for you in the past and will happen again in the future because the ego is part of this human experience. It's not a bad thing. Now, we often hear the term ego death. And to me, ego death is when we realize that the ego is the centered energy from which we are manifesting and coming back to our soul essence. So we continuously choose that time and time again. Whether you're a healer, an artist, a businessman or woman, or simply someone trying to live a more aligned life, then this message is for you. So let's start with some real talk. The soul creates to express truth. The ego creates to protect your identity. So we have the truth, we have identity. And ego isn't bad. It's just outdated programming. It wants to keep you safe, in control, validated. But soul wants you to feel liberated. It wants you to create things that heal and ripple out into the universe. Now, here are some signs or examples where ego is sitting in the driver's seat. And before I share these examples with you, Soul Tribe, I want you to approach this topic. I want you to approach what I'm about to say from the observer, not the inner critic. All right, this isn't about judging oneself. It is about observing these behaviors so we can understand when the ego is getting a little bit out of hand. Number one, you may be overly focused on performance, validation, or perfection. Now, this one is one that I've heavily struggled with and I still struggle with from time to time because that ego kicks in and says, I have to perform. I have to be the best. This has to be perfect. When you feel anxious, rushed, or feel that tightness in your chest when you are creating, that's a no-go, right? That's the ego. When you are mimicking others or disconnecting from your own voice, giving others power to speak up for you, or you dim your light to fit in because perhaps standing out is too vulnerable. But staying small bears too high of a cost. You're not meant to stay small. You're not meant to dim your light in order to fit in, right? Who wants to fit in? You are authentic. You are unique, Soul Tribe. You have gifts. If you feel depleted after you share your work or if you're trying to create, we've all heard of writer's block, right? Writer's block, or we feel disconnected from our creations, our projects, our own intuition. We've all been there because we may need to hit that reset, right? We have to hit that reset and check in with ourselves and say, wait a second, what is my why? Why am I wanting to create? What joy does this bring me? And is it bringing me joy anymore? And here's what it feels like when you're creating from the soul. You lose track of time. This happens to me all the time. I'll look at the clock, it's 10 a.m. and I get recording, or I'm journaling, or I'm out in nature. This is a big one. When I'm out in nature, creating isn't just about productivity, as I mentioned. It is about creating that alignment with your soul essence. And that could be sitting in silence, sitting out in nature, being out on the paddleboard, or kayaking, canoeing. Whatever it is for you, it's going to be many different things. It's not just geared towards one specific way of creating. You lose track of time and you feel empowered. You're not worried if it's perfect. You trust the transmission. So here's an example. Some of you may have caught this, some of you may have not caught this, but it was about a month ago. I was doing one of these Soul Saturday sessions. And I was in the vibe, I was flowing, and I realized after the fact that I had lipstick on my teeth. And at first, the ego popped in and said, Mel, you can't put that out there. You have lipstick covering the top of your teeth, the bottom of your teeth. People are going to judge, they're going to criticize, they're not going to take you seriously. And after I let my ego throw a little bit of a hissy fit, I chuckled and I said, wait a second, Mel, but the content, the message was where it's at. And you didn't realize it because you weren't staring, in the camera, noticing your teeth. And so sometimes we are so hard on ourselves. And I could have made a choice to not put out that content. But if other people are going to judge, or if that's going to be a distraction from a message, then unfortunately, let them, right? It's the whole let them theory. And I feel like we tend to not put out things because we are fearing not looking perfect, right? And that's something, again, that I'm still struggling with from time to time. When you're in that soul alignment, you feel raw, you feel open, you feel vulnerable. This happens every time I am creating a video, especially these Soul Saturday sessions. I'm face to face with you. I'm sharing my stories, my vulnerabilities, and my weaknesses, as well as my strengths. But when we are in the flow, we aren't worried about other people judging us. We're not worried that other people are not going to like us because I like me. I am embracing my strengths and my weaknesses. Even if one person receives a message, then my work is done. To me, that is a win. And so when we start to accumulate the need for that validation or that like, or we feel like we have to ripple out even more. When I first started this channel, that was my mentality. If I only reach one person and it shifts their energy in some way, then that is me healing and rippling it out into the universe. Ask yourself right now, when was the last time I created something just because it felt true? No pressure, no timelines, no needing it to be viral or marketable, just pure aligned expression. That's soul. Now, here's the cost of creating from ego, which we've all done it, right? And we all will continue to be faced with this choice of creating from alignment versus ego. And we'll oscillate between the both. But the goal here is to remind ourselves, to be and stay humbled, right? To stay humbled. Here's the thing we don't always talk about. Creating from the ego might get you results. That's why some of you have seen people who could be in the lowest of vibe and it seems like they have everything. You're like, what the heck? This isn't fair. But it's not going to bring them the results that truly fulfill them or bring them peace. Remember, we're only seeing one side of someone's life or their story, especially on social media. It may look like flowers and rainbows and unicorns, but chances are there's not that emotional soul fulfillment from creating from that true aligned space within. And when we perform instead of express, we start to feel like frauds in our own lives. Eventually, that's what it feels like. We start to doubt our magic. You've all heard of imposter syndrome, right? We burn out. We lose our sacred spark. I've felt it, especially when I was posting content that was vulnerable, right? Or I was, even in the corporate world, when I was in marketing and consulting, connecting and talking to people. Yes, there are a lot of strengths that I have, and maybe I focus, at least in some of these videos, I focus on some of these weaknesses to let you know that you can overcome them. You can work with these energies. You don't have to continuously stay in this hanged man energy of pause, delay, or feeling like you're manifesting all of the negative things. I've spent hours recording, re-recording, and pushing stop, pushing pause, trying to just get it right. And it felt off. It was frustrating. That's because my why was off, right? My why. I wasn't serving soul. I was surviving survival. I have to produce this video, right? This is my career. This is how I make money. I have a family to take care of, right? And when we get into that survival mode, it changes the game. It shifts everything. Trying to prove my worth instead of living it, right? Ego can't create true fulfillment. It can only chase. Soul doesn't chase. It radiates, and people feel that difference. So if you feel stuck, ask yourself, what is my why? Am I creating? Am I manifesting from a place of alignment? Now here's the juicy part. Let's get practical, Soul Tribe. How do you return to soul in your creative process? We slow down. We slow down. We live in a society where we have to go, 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 go. We have deadlines. We have meetings. We have flights that we have to catch. We have people that we have to take care of. We have family needs. We are constantly in this survival go, go, go mode. And recently I've caught myself in that, and I said, wait a second. I'm starting to feel the pressure of producing, and it's not working. And when I produce a video that is coming from pressure, not soul, I'm not going to get as many views, right? Because it's an algorithm. Our energy is an algorithm. And if I'm not in alignment, I'm not going to put out the energy that I'm truly wanting to attract. So we need to slow down and we need to get present. So what do I do when that happens? I say, you know what? The world is still going to continue moving forward if I don't put out a video on this day at this time. I am going to go out and I'm going to get some air. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to go spend some time catching up on lunch with a friend. I am going to clean my house or do whatever it is that I need to do to kind of remember my why and to get back into soul alignment. Before you write, speak, paint, post, breathe. Breath is so important. Drop into your body. Feel your heart. Place your hands on your womb and your solar plexus region and ask, what truth wants to move through me today? Presence is the portal, always. Why do you think The Power of Now is such a big hit, or The Secret is such a big hit? Because it talks about being present in the moment. Because the past and the future, they don't exist right here, right now, right? All you have is this moment. Feel, don't force. We get up in our heads a lot, especially you air signs. I'm a Libra sun, Aquarius moon. I tend to get up in my head just like everybody else. Ego pushes, soul flows. Let the idea come like a wave. Drop into your body. You can journal, you can voice memo, dance. That's one of my favorite. Dance, move the body, go hiking. Move it through you before trying to shape it. Okay, move it through you. Allow that energy to flow through your body. Create in a sacred space. Light a candle, call in your guides, set an intention. Let this creation be an extension of your truth. And maybe even write this down as an affirmation, Soul Tribe. Let this creation be an extension of my truth and service to the collective. That simple act of ritual turns your expression into devotion. And one of my personal favorites, this is something that I do before I connect to a client, before I do a reading. I say, Mother, Father, God, Spirit, Guides, and Angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. I ask that the messages that come through be for the highest good of the collective, of Aries, of, my client, whomever. I wrap that intention up, and I also know that this isn't me doing it solo. I am the channel. I am the tool. I am the hollow bone that Spirit works through me, with me, co-creating. And we often get stuck in that energy, feeling like we're all alone, like we're doing this by ourselves. So come back to that center, come back to that truth that it's not just you. Let go of the outcome. This is a big one that we get caught up on. Why am I not there yet? Why have I not reached this outcome? Expectations as well. This is big. Soul doesn't ask, will they like it? It asks, is it true? That's your compass, right? Is it true? Start asking yourself that. Is this creation true? And then speak to one soul. Forget the masses. Tune into the soul who needs your message. That makes it intimate. I do that when I'm creating content, when I am connecting with anything, creating anything. I connect to the soul of it instead of feeling like I have to touch base with every single person or it has to be perfected in every single way. Connect to one soul. It does create more of that intimacy and vulnerability. Make space for rest and emptiness. Soul work is cyclical. You're not meant to produce constantly. That's that go, go, go mentality, that belief system that we have ingrained within our energy fields. There are seasons of stillness, right? Just like spring, summer, winter, and fall, we have to go through these cyclical seasons to process, right? There are seasons of stillness. There are seasons of integration. Honor them and trust that your next wave of expression is already forming in the void. And that's the Hanged Man energy in tarot. When I first started learning tarot, the Hanged Man was one that was not my favorite because it was the void. And coming from, a healer energy, creative energy, I felt like that void was a personal failure, but it's not. So if you are in the void right now, Soul Tribe, know that it's part of the pause. It's part of the stillness as your soul recalibrates, right? And comes back to that place of essence instead of ego. Now let's bring this home for the leaders and the healers out there. You might be running a brand, a platform, or a practice, and it's easy to slip into strategy over soul. But here's what I've learned. When your energy is aligned, your business follows, your career follows, your relationships follow. Clients come, right? Love interests show up because people feel your frequency. People are vibing at that frequency that you are giving off, right? The law of attraction. So instead of asking what's trending or what's going to perform, ask what feels resonant. What's alive in me right now? What wants to be shared, even if it's raw? This is something that, I ask often, especially during these Soul Saturday sessions. Spirit, what needs to be discussed today? What's going to be beneficial for our soul tribe? And even though there's many of you here, Soul Tribe to me is the one soul, essence. I'm speaking to Soul Tribe. And instead of feeling like it has to fit every single person, I'm vibing with the energy here. And that's why so many of you vibe with it. So many of you say that feels so personal, that feels so intimate, it feels so vulnerable, or that is my story. Because your vulnerability is leadership. Brene Brown talks about this. She goes to great lengths to really talk about vulnerability as our greatest strength. So if that is something you've suffered with, check her out. She is fantastic. Now remember, your authenticity is magnetism and your truth is your brand. Remember that, Soul Tribe. So let's take a breath together. Inhale. Big breath in from the solar plexus. Exhale through the mouth with a nice deep sigh. And I want to remind you that you are the channel. You are a channel for something infinite, something wise. Your soul didn't come here to conform. We often do. We conform or we adapt to our situation, and then we get in a comfort zone, and then we play it small. You are not meant to play it small, especially if you're watching this video. There's something deeper that you are meant to create, something more that you are wanting to express. And again, it doesn't have to be through productivity. It is through alignment, not to hustle, but to heal. And even when you fall into ego, as we all do and as we all will, know that it's okay. Ego just means that you care. But now you can choose differently. You can pause, you can return, and you can listen deeper. So the next time you go to create, whether it's a poem, whether it's a post, a product, a podcast, ask yourself, am I doing this from soul or ego? And if it's ego, no shame, right? No shame. Just pause, breathe, and ask your soul to lead, because he or she's always been here, right? They're always with you. Thank you, Soul Tribe, for tuning in today. I hope this was helpful. I'm so proud of the way that all of you keep showing up. All of you are so very strong. You are so brave. You inspire me each and every single day. I love reading your comments. I love reading your stories. I love connecting with my beautiful clients out there. You know who you are. And this isn't just for that ego side, but it's the true soul essence within you. Tap back into that. A lot of you are already there, right? A lot of you are reminded when that ego creeps in. Now, if this session moved you, please do give it a thumbs up. Thank you, Soul Tribe, for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and feel free to share it with someone who could use a little bit of a ego uplift. Forgive yourself as well. Forgiveness heals. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of love.